Well, good evening. Back for another panel is SJFloyer, Floyer,
Flower.
Flower,
Actually, yeah.
Tpol of the amputees,
Tpol.
and your host, Jackilous.
Jackilous as well.
I thought we could come back, as we've had a big gap, into the Lords and see how we're going so far. 7 games in, we've got Dick Dastardly at the top. Pelitas amputees are just squeezing in on 7th on 7 points, so in as many games picked up as many points, and looking pretty average right now. And same for the Burka, only 2 points up on 10, and it should be interesting to see what our insights are at this point. We're another season on. We've had our Christmas meal, we've had our relief. Our Christmas meal, sorry, our end of season.
I really had a great time.
Yeah, it was good to see the footage from the Grey Lice, and I thought we could just delve straight in and think about opinions of the league so far. What are everyone's interpretation of what's happened so far consistent with their thoughts prior to the season? Have they got diverted in any way? What are our thoughts, guys?
Yeah, well, the way things have been going, it would be a sin for anyone but you to speak first, Simon.
Well, you've already spoken first. But yes, I do have the right to speak. No. I'm playing far beyond my expectations right now. Team have just been putting in performance after performance. Obviously, I've had a much easier run of games first half of the season.
Well, no, that's debatable because you have now played the two of the teams who were pipped for the title race and got 2 wins. Have you not played Tristan?
I haven't. No, I've got the double against him next up.
And,
that's the only team he hasn't played.
Those are the 2 games you should be thinking, okay, there's a bit of risk, and you've dusted it under the carpet, and you can just pick up the pieces.
I know what you mean, but what I will say is, obviously, they were both home games against the Burka and against the Grey Lice. And if I'm honest, Jack didn't say the tactics for my game. I mean, they still put in a cracking performance. He still had tactics out there, but obviously I was helped out there. And then against Graham, I mean, he had bad form at the time. He had some injuries going on, And I've got to go away to you guys now, and you both well, Jack will by then have got his form back up and be winning games. He's got his form up.
Yeah, well, we're on the move now. Games. I'm not going to look too far into the future, but form is back on its
exactly.
Now. And that's the thing. What we and Tpol were talking about, the break at this point is it's a godsend. It really does allow you to recap form and reinvigorate. Granted, I got a 0-0 draw at home today. The way I see it is though, all my U's got a game. I got a point. And I can look for the double header against the Brooksy, who are eating some sweet humble crumble.
They really are, aren't they? Kick-started by moi.
Yeah, as predicted by moi, and as observed by him.
But yeah. But if I'm honest, bringing back to what you're talking about with the break, I mean, it's interesting seeing everyone's different opinion about where theirs is.
Yeah, and how that has impacted.
Because mine, personally, I loved having the break at the beginning.
Yeah, straight away. It meant that you could have those first few games for free and see if you get the 3 points before you just got a form boost.
Well, that's the thing. I made sure I got my form high. My form.
That's like the key. You have that chance. Yeah. If you don't take it, then.
Oh, exactly. So I was quite excited about it. And I quite like the idea of just getting underway and getting things under wraps, but.
But like, take into account Larry's little boost, right? So he started off the season really bad, and he had his gap on, what was it, the fourth game?
Something like that.
And then after that, he's won every single game. Granted, again, he drew today, but he was away. But,
so point to point away from home,
Exactly. And
if you take points away from home, you got to be happy.
And he's got awesome form now, and it happened with Graham as well. Admittedly, you just battered him out of the way, but his form really picked up after his break.
Yeah, no, definitely, and that's one of the reasons I'm slightly scared about playing the Braps in a weird sense, because they've got their break, but then at the same time, form's never been Tristan's strong point.
Yeah, I don't associate good form with that.
Plus,
squad,
he's got to play Graham in the cup, so it's actually quite nice for me. His break, he doesn't get a true break.
Yeah, but who do you have to play in the cup?
I've got the amputees, which we're both going out to lose.
That should be a turnover.
We're both going out there to lose, kind of.
Well, I have no intention of going through to the next round.
As I said, I'm happy to go through to the next round. As long as I then get all my youth play, and provided I then get either the pussy or the window lickers, and then I'll be fine. I'll be content with that.
Get to the final for free.
Get to the final.
At that point, even if you have choked and you've done the unheard of Tpol from 7 points, 7 games, 7 wins, to a point where
8 points clear.
I've noticed people trying to get in my head recently. I don't know if they are just being nice to me or if They're trying to, because I'm notorious for crumbling when people compliment me. I've always had this with any sort of game. If someone gives me a compliment, I then crumble and become a useless piece of shit.
Maybe something you don't want to put out on a
Yeah,
broadcast.
thanks.
Well,
thanks
no,
for
because
pointing
it's
that
a
out.
bit different with Expert 11, isn't it? It's a little bit different. So I've managed to.
Yeah, no one's above dirty tactics in our group, man. Everyone's really
All's
fucking
fair in love and
honourable.
expert, mate. Man mark Peter Bocelli.
Yeah,
I did.
that was beautiful when he went down, man. I loved it.
I guess it
definitely
was
the
only a
highlight
matter of
season,
time, really,
yeah.
wasn't it, when we moved on to that topic?
I don't know if an injury's ever reverberated around the league as such. It was a really glorious, jubilant day.
I think everyone rejoiced by Jack, but everyone else, across both divisions.
Well, I
was
just feel
rejoicing.
shit that Tpol witnessed it with me as
Yeah.
watching the game. 23 minutes in?
He grabbed me as if someone had just stamped on his balls. Like, he was...
See, if someone stamped on my balls, I wouldn't necessarily grab someone.
Nah, he
I probably
was like a
wouldn't have.
vice. He just contracted. And again, in that moment, I felt sorry for him. I mean, I think I was laughing.
You were laughing your fucking head off. You just couldn't contain it. You even sort of paused your laugh to go, yes! and like fist pumped the air. And I'm just...
I assume there was yeah.
But how did you react when you saw? I mean, come on. It was just, yeah.
Go on, honestly, yeah, how did you react when you saw that?
Me? I actually saw it late. Everyone was talking about it in the group about some massive event, and I'd missed the beginning when it was actually Petrelli's name was dropped, was mentioned. And so I sort of went, what's going on, guys? And someone was like, I think you even, Tpol, you were desperate to get the news out there. Mentioned Peter Petrelli's out for, I don't know, was it 12 days or something like that?
Yeah.
And I ejaculated on the spot. Quite simply put.
But to my understanding, unfortunately, all's well in the Petrelli camp.
He's on his way, isn't he?
We're looking good, we're back on
He's
top.
been put in one of those oxygen chambers.
Yeah, he's been oxidised, mate.
Yeah.
Back on it. If there was one point, like I said it before, of the whole of this season, if he was to get injured, I remember thinking at the start of the season, like, my defence is, if he gets injured for a long time, like, I'm going to be fucking stuffed. But to have it at a point when I then get 5 days off, that takes his injury down to a week. He'll be off on a needle on 5 days, so that's really only technically like 2 days of key injury when he could be used.
One thing I will say is, like, what's your thoughts on playing a player slightly injured? Because I would never do it.
No, I mean, like, you've got to come at
With a player
approaching.
that.
You kind of really need to think about the fixture itself. Like, who are you playing? Are you away
Okay,
or home?
granted.
Agreed, yeah.
And then the next factor is, when do you sub him out? Because you can't give him the full game. You have to really think about.
I would tend to use them as a sub, generally.
Well, that's the thing. In the first few matches, if he's still got like 5 or 4 games, you do want to like bring them on. Maybe with 20 minutes to go, 30 minutes to go, and then maybe the next game start them. But you still run a bit of a risk. But it doesn't add a huge percentage, I'd say, from just experience of playing injured players, maybe from the sub bench, of them that impacting a full injury. And what I found more common is if you don't have slightly injured subbed off, then they're more likely to just get injured in the rest of the match if they don't come off. I've seen it like 3 or 4 times.
See, I've always found in the past, I used to play my lightly injured players, and I always found it was early on into their game that they'd get injured.
Mm.
Granted, quite a few of them were when I actually played them from the off. Now, if I do play a lightly injured player, it will be as a sub. It'll be for sort of 5-10 minutes at the end of the game.
Yeah, and I mean, he missed a game again today against the Windows, and he's gonna miss the first leg against Larry, but he could come back for the feature against Pete. But that is when he's fully fit. So yeah, I do have the opportunity to play him in the cup against Larry, injured. But
I wouldn't. Yeah.
That's not for me to say, because that's tactics. I'm not going to talk about who I'm playing and whatnot. The question remains, though, like, what impact is that going to have on the rest of his form for the rest of the season? Is he going to have enough game time? It brings into question, do I want to get to the next round of the cup? Do I want to then beat Larry and make sure I got an extra 2 games ready for Petrelli to play? It's a real fucking balancing act at the moment.
I must say that I have enjoyed the draw of the cup. Lots of rivalries going on.
It was sort of perfect, wasn't it?
It
sort of
was.
matched everyone up.
It was great.
But one thing I really want to know, I really want to delve into the mind of Politi about how his season's been going. I mean, he's still got some cracking players, ex-champions.
Yeah, let's just not forget he currently has.
He holds the title.
It's right there on his page, and he's basically spitting on it.
Yeah.
At the moment. Thoughts?
I like how the titles. Actually, I do have the trophy. It's on my mantelpiece in my living room. The sword is in my room in my drawer.
Well, he keeps all his dildos.
Yeah,
Stowed away with
sure.
the rest of the sex toys. And no, it's to me. I said last year I proved that I could win, and now I've got that league silverware under my belt. My goal and my challenge was to try and build the best team I could, and that's what I'm trying to do. And I knew this season I wasn't
But
going
I
to
thought your attitude was to stay competitive.
Yes, and obviously I think I might have overdone it a tiny bit in that regard. I don't think, I still think
Like even Norman felt that, and he brought in a fucking forward, and he pings out a hat trick for a draw
Yeah,
away.
he scored again today.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not saying there's no chance that anyone else will join before the season's over, depending on how things go. But to be honest, I think next year I'll be a lot more competitive. If DV can stay, sort of on the route it's on at the moment, and form is managed well, then I think that my team next year will be competitive. Maybe not quite contended, but definitely in sort of the top 4. But this season, I might have overdone it slightly. But I think again, long term, I'm doing the right thing, and I've got. There's no player on my team that doesn't have any value and doesn't have any promise, or isn't doesn't deserve to be there. So, which is more than a lot of managers.
But again,
can say.
it comes back to
I'm pleased.
are you staying competitive? Is that all going to pave the way for what 2 years time for you to go? Yeah, now I can bitch.
I will be in the Lords next season.
What if,
stay up?
per se, get a draw against you at yours and then beat you at theirs?
Well, then obviously I'm probably going to go down, so then I'll be in the Squires. And
How would that make you feel?
Yeah,
Well,
like what of all the people in this car that can actually foster that thought? How
Yeah,
does it
I
sit
mean,
with you?
it's never happened, has it? A champion to then get relegated next season.
I don't know.
One and only. I think that's an award, is it not? Surely.
Well,
I'd have to. I know. I'd have a lot to
potentially you
endure.
could say that is a Brooksy crumble, just over a much larger period of time.
But it's not like I played the same team and the same guys that won me the championship went out the next season and got relegated. I did
Same manager though. That's the thing.
Yeah, same manager.
And as I said,
He made those calls on who he's going to play the next season.
Exactly.
If you ask me how I feel, to be honest, I haven't really considered the possibility of going down. I really don't think it's going to happen. If it does go down, then I'm faced with the choice of, do I make a serious sort of, do I say, hey, I'm going to gut now, because there's no point, part of it as well, seeing the shame of seeing Geraldo Rangos and Mauro Ajuda and that playing in the Squires.
Where they belong. Well,
Ajuda played 17 today, just saying.
An interesting thought in it is that if you're going to play in the Squires, and I only know this just through speaking to Norman and then sort of seeing it for myself in the different ways he's been playing, in that when you're in the Lords, if you're getting bitched on, you can focus on DV because your players are playing a different calibre of opponent, so they get a better experience. If you're in the Squires and you're not bitching, if you're not winning, then
what are you doing?
Your team don't get as much DV from it because they're playing weaker teams, and ultimately they're not getting as much experience out of playing better players, and your DV will actually suffer to the point where, if you are in the bottom dregs of it and you're not picking up those wins, then your average form is just not going to be that slightly bit high, which it could be, and then added on to the fact that the players aren't getting as much out of the game, you can really suffer. So that brings into the choice: are you going to bring in a couple of players that will ensure that you can get good wins and they will countermand the lack of experience and quality DV they're going to gain if they were to be in the Lords?
Well, I don't need to. If I go down, I don't need to bring anyone in. I mean, are you telling me the team I have with a change report will not go straight back up if I win?
I said
Bilbo
that about Bilbo.
quite experience.
Confident.
Benevento.
He's got 17 or 16. He's just brought in a new forward, and I still don't see him winning.
I would still say my team's stronger. I think if
I'm not implying anything.
Had,
I'm just saying that. Are you confident? If you were to go to the Squires, are you confident you wouldn't need to make changes?
Yeah, I'm confident with a change report. I could possibly win every game with a change report. I think that'd be doable. But if I didn't make any changes, however, at the same time, I'll be put in that position with I've got to do what's best for my team, and maybe if I do go down, what's best for my team is to say, hey, the top guys need to go, and I need to get more 17-4s in and build from there. I mean, we'll see. I it's all redundant though, mate, because I'm staying up. So I'll be a Lord next year. Don't worry, you have to put up with coming to the mound of feet.
I might just have to add, just to really add to the experience that the viewers are getting. He's actually got sweat trickling down his forehead as we speak. He's shivering and
He's
I've got a nervous
shaking,
twitch. It's
yeah.
just developed this season. I don't know what it is.
The utter notion itself quakes him.
he's got a very unkempt beard going on. He's wearing rats and tats, and yeah, just to really get the experience through.
Yeah.
Well, can we just touch upon the commissioners for a bit? Because I feel they at least need some sort of thought process, because if it's not going to come from the manager, it might as well come from some observers. What's going on in that? What is happening?
I think tactically, recently, he's been a
spot
genius.
on.
He's been
Through
a genius.
complete luck or complete genius,
I
he's
think
been spot
he's
on.
been spot on
He
through
has
his
been,
own
yep.
his own intelligence. He's been overperforming with his team for a number of years,
That's true. That's
in
true.
my opinion. I looked at his team. No offense, Larry, but I didn't see much coming out of them.
No.
But he's got a
Again,
cracking
no
forward,
offence, Larry, but I would say your team is probably the most uninspiring in the league. And when I bring up a team, everyone in my team I think has some sort of promise, some sort of excitement, some sort of value. Larry's team lacks that.
But at the end of the day, though, it's
there's a
about the
certain-
manager, isn't it?
Well, this is a lot.
The
Yeah,
amputees have got a shit
the
manager
29
and the
10s,
Christian
the
have a good
27
manager.
10s. It's just there's
But I
something
mean-
uninspiring about
I don't
just a
know.
squad full of that.
I'll concede that there's a lack of gusto maybe about particular sections of the squad list I look at, but at the same time, seeing their plays over time, as it were, how consistently they played at the start of the season, from then till now, it makes me think that actually because they're all at the same age and they're all kind of like 24 to 26 in that peak range
A
where
bit
they're going to
older,
play.
bit older. They're more.
Okay, but
26
yeah, but
to 30.
what I'm saying is the promises of his team. Like we've got like 24 at 12s, stuff like that, and those are our sort of key players that we want to look at to be consistently playing well, so they're going to go up. Here's a 8, 9, 10 skill, but because they're playing with that caliber and there's no real 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, it doesn't bring down an average. So
No, yeah.
he's got it's not quality.
They're hard workers. They're
And
the team.
they'll bang out a lot of good plays.
And again,
consistently.
to Larry's credit as well, I've sort of been, and I've been quite outspoken about it. I've been waiting for Larry's form to just drop, for the Christian's form just to drop all season, and it hasn't. And considering he's got again quite an older team, to keep form that high for that long is impressive. So
he lives with salamanders, right?
yeah,
Harsh.
I think he's picked up a few things.
That's
yeah.
a good partnership there, because
The trainee teaches the master.
let's be honest,
Master.
seeing Harsh's official team and things like that, he knows. what he's
I
doing.
respect that boy. Yeah,
he knows, and he always does give valid points to say in the group. And Larry, as I said, he often gets his tactics. He is very out there. He's willing to try quite extreme tactics sometimes. Tactics I would never think to go to, and then they work.
Mhm.
So you can't.
And then what degree is that? Is that expert? Is that Larry's got good form so they can kind of
But
try these new formations?
I don't know, as in I can't see the inside. For example, he might be playing that formation based on the form of his players, but I don't know because I can't see it. All I can see is based on the results, and obviously recently he's been in cracking form.
Cracking.
solid performances.
Rise,
Return.
Rizal.
Go on.
What are the other storylines in the league? I think it's really been.
Well, I've actually felt quite sorry for the window lickers. Just putting it out there.
Yeah, I
he's
quite concede.
Like 4 times, I think it is. He's lost 3-2. He's kept his games close and he's been competitive. He just
But
hasn't got
today,
results.
he's actually got a lot of goals for a team that haven't got a win.
Yeah,
A considerable amount, which says that his team is playing. He's just missing out.
Yeah, I feel that's what I mean. I feel
A lot of late goals as well. That sort of, and he's lost out on a few unfortunate results.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously the Pussy, I haven't really seen too much going on there.
Again, he's got one of those teams where they're full of sort of lower skill players, but he's got a lot of special attributes.
Yeah,
So you
definitely.
do need to.
Winning a lot.
Yeah.
That's all his players.
Yeah, so-
Every single one has got a powerful attribute.
Yeah, so you need to
Yeah.
be
So
wary
many
of
goal
him.
instinct players.
And again, he was always one. I remember from when he was in the Lords before, that him and Salamanders
split.
again tactically just a bit awkward to play against. You never felt comfortable.
Definitely.
Picking
he
it-
always played cautious at home to me, so I always got the win.
I guess back then maybe I had a weaker team. I mean, but he was one that I always sort of I knew he'd be playing. I knew he'd be someone I had to think about. So But I mean, I still stand by what I said at the beginning of the season. I think those two are going straight back down, unfortunately, deserved or not. And that's sort of the way it's looking right now.
Yeah, and how do you feel about, say Pete, for example, with the Dream Team? Because he has such a brilliant start to the season.
Yeah.
And it's just flipped on its head. I mean, we all joked about the crumble, and it just seems to be happening right now.
Pardon the pun, but it is falling apart a bit.
Yeah, yeah. It really has.
Pardon the pun.
Yeah. No, tell me about it.
But, you know, that paves the way for a lovely end of season for moi, just because I got him in the double. So if I can then just
Take
be
advantage.
if I'm an extra catalyst to his form just depleting, at which, you know, it currently is pretty awful. And I play him first leg as away. Admittedly, again, that's the thing. I'm getting blessed with the Petrelli injury, in that I'm starting to get paid a little bit in that he's not missing two big games where I'm playing big
And you think
results.
when he
Would
comes
you-
back, the morale boost for
Yeah.
the rest of your team.
Would you rather have played him away or home first?
Away.
See, I've got the Braps away and then home.
I
I'm
prefer
glad.
home.
No, I'm glad just because
No, just in the usually I would.
I'm
prefer
going
home
in
first.
with, you know, on the back of some good results. If I can carry it on and if I get a result,
If he
I'm
gets
very
it back.
confident I could get a result at home.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like,
I
Baltimore's been brutal.
I said you're having the season I had last year, mate. I think you're gonna.
Just better.
I think you're gonna roll through. I think you're gonna roll through Tristan. I think you're probably gonna ride that, beat Graham, and it could be just one of those seasons.
I
man.
said I've got a
Well,
very tough.
Let's consider the other milkers. Are they going to be anything to talk about in the next few games? Are they going to take a step up?
Well, it's a tough one, isn't it? Who have they
You
got in the
can't, you
double?
can't ever underestimate or count them out. Let's
No.
face it.
No, who have they got in the double?
I believe it is Larry.
Ooh.
In the double.
Yeah.
Because the thing with the others is, like, he's got a very strong team, but they are very old. I mean, are those
4
others,
wins and 3 losses.
are
from his
those
first
others
7.
drying up with their creamy milk? I mean,
Yeah, it's a bit sour and
you know what I mean? Yeah, it's starting to taste just a little bit.
pasteurised.
Exactly, but they've got the brand name, so people still buying it. So he's still there, but is it? You know, does he need to get in some new cows?
But what happened today? I mean, you played him today. I mean, what did you think?
Were you worried?
I was a little bit surprised actually because he man-marked McDrain. I really thought, based on the way my midfield have been performing recently, that one of them would be man-marked. But again, that works as a benefit to me, is that they are all playing so well. You can't. It's hard to pick any which one because they're all performing. You'll affect one of them, but there's still 4 who are going to drop in some cracking, some great form and great results. So
Your
No, it's an
midfield,
interesting
your midfield
one.
played a 14 today. Fucking hell.
I guess.
who
I
me?
get-
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's one player, Vlasic, had to come in and he didn't. He still played above his skill, but he didn't play as good as he should.
Well, let's round off by just simply stating who we think will win, come second, and third. Start us off.
We'll start off from the bottom of the table and work our way up.
Yeah. Let's do predictions. What do you think? Yeah, let's do the
For
whole
the
table.
top 3,
No, let's do the whole table.
the whole table
Whole
at this
table.
point. I'm
At
trying.
9.
I don't even know if I can remember my original pre-season prediction.
That's the beauty. We have it on record. So
Yeah,
we
we
can watch
do.
it later.
Yeah,
So
we
let's hear-
can
let's
double
hear-
check.
Let's
but
hear your thoughts.
right now, and I've got the table sat right in front of me. I'm saying Dick Dastardly,
Oh, you're starting from the top. Okay.
yeah, there to win. I'm going to say the Burke and Merkage takes second.
He loves it.
I'm not. No, I don't love that. I do not love saying that. But something tells me with Petrelli coming back, and just the run of games, and I don't see Jack having another bad half of the season. Like he had by his standards, I think quite a poor first half. And like in terms of luck, and I think Jack himself would admit, forgetting his tactics and a few things that he could have done
there's
better.
been blips in the radar.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So I don't envisage that happening. And then I'm going to say others stay where they are on third.
Slowly but surely.
I think Larry will take fourth.
Oh, Jack doesn't like that.
And I don't like it either, but I think Larry... I had Larry to be in that relegation fight with me, Pussy and Windows, but no, I think Larry's going to take fourth.
Showed
now.
you up,
To
didn't
be
he?
fair, I did predict your relegation fight.
Yeah, no...
Sorry,
it is
yeah,
what it
that's
is.
off topic.
And then I think Dream Team will take fifth. Tristan will take 6th. I'm going to hold on to, as I said, Lord's positions come 7th, and then I can see Windows getting some results and maybe going ahead of Pussy, but at the end of the day, they're both going back to the squires in my opinion. So, yeah, that's
United.
that's my roundup.
Cool.
Oh, am I taking
Predictions.
May
away?
I have a little glance and
Yeah, of
I'll
course.
give my thoughts. I mean, I want to put it out there too. I mean, I would love to win, and obviously that's still kind of my goal. But DV's going to come first, and as you say, the start I've had, I don't really want to keep going and say no, I'm going to win, because I'd just be foolhardy. So my prediction would be Dick Dastardly to win, easy. Called it from the start. I see myself actually tying second with either Pete or Graham, and the other person be 1 point behind.
Okay.
I think it'll get down really close. And then I see probably. So then I'll be down to 5th then. So I think the top 4 at the moment would end top 4, but there'll be a shuffle in 2nd and 3rd for the tie, and 4th, and then 5th will probably be Bear Brats. I think they'll be pick up a bit more, just because the sheer strength will have to play a factor at some point in the season. Whilst Larry, his form will eventually dip. Let's face it, he has got old players, and Tristan suffered that early doors, so I think they'll just sort of have a bit of a switcheroo, and then it'll be Krishna's 6th. I mean, I'd love to see the Pussy Patrol just nip ahead
In the double,
Yeah.
just pulling out 4 points and then.
Just go, see you
mate.
later, mate, into 7th, and then the fight's on. I'd love to see that, but realistically, I see Politi on, the amputees on 7th, and then, I mean, who gives a fuck about 8th and 9th?
Well, to be honest,
He's going to come out and say it now. Go on.
it's actually quite tricky for me because I think
you're
Burke
gonna
are
win the league?
gonna get involved. I
Who's
think
going to win the league?
if I take 6 points from the next 2 games, I'll win the league.
Okay, but right now.
But right now, I mean, I've got to be confident, don't I? You've got to show you got balls. So I'm going to say I'm going to win. Yeah, I'm going to say I'm going to win. Then I think Burke.
He said it.
He said it.
You got to. If you don't have the balls, then my players will lose faith in me. They won't believe they can do it. Now I think the Burke will take 2nd. Udder's 3rd. Yeah, and then I actually think. Ooh, 4. I think it's going to be the Braps. Controversial.
No dream team.
Nope. And then I think it's going to be Dream Team.
Actually, I didn't account
And
for the
Krishna.
Brooksy Crumble
Yeah, I
To be
think
fair.
it could be. Brooksy could even drop down a little further.
stand. I mean, it just goes without saying.
So I had him in
we-
5th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying 5th, or maybe even Krishna could take 5th and drop him down to 6th, but we'll see. And then I think Politi's going to take 7th. I think he'll stay up.
Yeah.
I mean, you
And
both want me to go down, but you're not unintelligent.
Yeah.
And
you
then-
both you both wanted Petrelli.
it's nothing against Pussy Patrol, but I want Window Lickers to actually get 8th just because I feel they deserve something. Like they've actually put in a
Yeah,
valiant display. And
they're
they've
the
just...
second worst relegation point.
Yeah, exactly. And then Pussy, unfortunately, on bottom.
Are there any forerunners, in your opinion, for the league awards, like Gaffer's Gaff, Wooden
Oh,
Spoon?
I wouldn't like to comment.
No,
Have
it's
you-
not our place really. I wouldn't say.
Had you had some thoughts though on early who
No.
it could be?
Pretty much just what I said. I wouldn't.
If Simon doesn't win the league, you've got to get the Crumble Award. You've got to get the Spoon, and I think you've got to get, I don't know.
Surely I wouldn't get the spoon.
You can't get the double whammy.
Surely I wouldn't get the spoon. I mean, my team
Yeah,
should not
at
be
this
where
point,
it is.
I think it would be an unqualified win if he got the spoon, because he's already got 7 out of 7. It doesn't show bad managership to then lose it. That just shows
If he
the
went-
crumble.
if-
That's
if-
just a crumble.
If he goes 0 for 7 in the next
Well,
7
yeah,
games,
maybe.
If let's say Tristan bottled it now, then yeah, he'd get the worst manager because he hasn't had a great start, and if he then just fucked up for the rest
or
of the
got
season.
relegated, or
Maybe,
Pete
or-
got relegated.
Mm.
But it's like if Jack crumbled first season, he could be in.
Yeah, I
contention.
could be definitely a contender.
Just he forgot his tactics, things like that. But I don't think it will
that's
happen.
behaviour.
Who do you think is going to win the cup?
Oh,
Does it matter?
Yeah, I think it does.
it's really hard to
Still
say.
silverware.
Yeah, I guess so.
I said I love the matchups. I love, I feel it's really it's like expert knows it put the right people against each other. I think the what's it called?
I'd like to see the Pussy Patrol lift it again. They're a previous cup winner. It'd be nice
Yeah.
to see them win something if they get relegated. That's
Definitely.
quite a rare thing to win the cup and then get relegated.
I think the others are going to win it.
Mm.
Because they always
Consistent,
try in both. The others wants to compete in both.
Yeah.
He doesn't like the idea of putting
Current
out weaker
holders.
squads. Yeah, he
Current
doesn't,
holders, remember?
doesn't like the idea of putting out weaker squads. So
He hasn't got weaker players to put out.
no. So I think I'm going to go with the others
Mm.
to win in the final against me.
I mean, he's going to get past Tristan.
No, actually, I think Burker could win it as well.
Well, as those are our last thoughts, I think it'd be prudent to end it there. So I appreciate your time, gents. It's been magical, as per.
Yeah, it came out okay.
And I bid everyone a farewell and thank you for listening.
Adios.